Now, FARC shares 907 billion naira to federal, state, local governments. Governors plan cash transfers to poor households. Dump Buhari's list. Corruption, nepotism, blackmail rocks Nigeria's anti-corruption agency. INEC speaks on deducting 2.5 million votes from Peter Obi's score. EFCC arraigned Stella Oduwa over alleged 5 billion naira fraud and money laundering. And those are the top stories I'll be considering on the world news at 12. I'll start off basically with where the EFCC, there are corruption allegations concerning the allocation of appointments in the EFCC. And according to an investigation by Daily Independent, sources have revealed corruption in the disposal of assets and process of crime seized by EFCC, fingering the office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice in the sleaze. The officers allege that the leadership of the commission ran an extortionate regime made possible by institutionalized nepotism. Governors, some officers said, were blackmailed into paying hefty sums in hard currencies. One instance was given of a former Southeast governor who was made to part with $6 million of late. Also, in the investigation revealed that officers in 4 operational zones of the EFCC in Port Harcourt, Benin, as well as Ibadan, including Ilorin, are aware of the publication and even offered further insights on the matters raised therein when contacted, while some others made attempt to make light of the allegations in the petition. Joining us via the telephone is actually barrister, no, not barrister, actually, Elvis Elimihele. Mr. Elvis Elimihele, of course, he's a normal analyst on this program on the World News at 12. He is going to be helping us break down these issues. Also, we have joining us as well CP Chuks Enwomu, and he is a security consultant, a former commissioner of police as well, currently retired. They will be talking deeply into these issues that we're looking into. I'll first of all start off with CP Chuks. CP Chuks, good afternoon and welcome to the World News at 12.
Good afternoon to you and to the listeners.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, CP, so there are allegations of corruption in the EFCC. And it's quite unfortunate because this is not the first time we've heard of such allegations. Now, they're writing to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, complaining of the fact that this is basically what transpires within that particular sector. There are allegations of corruption, promotion racketeering, tribal bigotry resulting in the elevation of persons from a particular region. And it is actually what is causing the fracture within the organization. Do you think there's an element of truth in this?
Well, those allegations, I believe, have not been substantiated. They are mere allegations. So it will not be for a conclusion to be...
These are officers of the EFCC who are making these allegations. They are the ones, some officers or ex-officers, and they are the ones saying that this is basically what is currently ongoing within the EFCC. Possibly some officers who are not in the favorable region that gets appointment or promotion.
You see the thing
is, how are you doing?
I am fine. So the Independent National Electoral Commission has denied the allegation of deducting 2.5 million votes from the scores obtained by the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi. INEC made the denial in its final address to the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal in the case by Obi and his party, challenging the final outcome of the 2023 presidential election as declared by the Commission. Now, you do recall that Peter Obi of the Labour Party is challenging the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the February 25 polls before the election tribunal. And he alleged through his witness before the tribunal that results from certain polling units show that a total of 2,565,269 votes were not reflected in his score, aside from his claim of non-compliance with the Electoral Act of 2022. However, in their final written address dated July 14, INEC's lead counsel, A.B. Mahmood, said Obi failed to provide credible evidence to back his claim and therefore asked the court to dismiss the petition. Mahmood added that Obi's witness failed to tender before the Presidential Election Petition Council the polling unit results he used in writing his report, leading to claims of a deduction. And I want to quote what he said. He said, curiously, if the 18,088 polling unit results as uploaded on Arab are blurred, what of the duplicate copies in the possession of the petitioner's polling agents? That's a question INEC is asking at the tribunal in their final summary. They also said that we submit that the totality of the testimony and evidence of the so-called experts, which were mentioned, PWs 4, 7, and 8. I'm sure these numbers are the numbers given to experts that were presented at the Election Petition Tribunal by the Labour Party to defend their case. And they said the called by the petitioners are manifestly unreliable. So they say the experts they called, you remember that the Labour Party called the mathematicians, they also called an ICT expert, and they're saying that these experts that were called by the Labour Party and Peter Obi, that what they said were manifestly unreliable and cannot ground the incident of non-compliance pleaded by the petitioners. So finally, INEC is submitting that there is no credible evidence to prove that votes in those 18,088 polling units were suppressed. That's what INEC is claiming, since the Labour Party couldn't present the polling units where they said votes were deducted from the Labour Party to, either the APC, especially the APC. And they're saying that just because blood results were allegedly uploaded on the IRA portal, that is, it is not credible enough for them to substantiate their claims because of blood results. That the petitioners have only left the same to conjecture and speculation, which never forms part of the determination of the court. This is by the lawyer of INEC, Mahmoud. Mahmoud argued that INEC conducted the election within the confines of the law and therefore urged the tribunal to dismiss a claim by Obi and his party. You do recall that the APC also made that same submission about last week, Friday, preceding to this week. They made the same submission that Peter Obi and the Labour Party's claims were unsubstantiated, as well as the PDP, so the tribunal should therefore disregard it. For the APC, they said that the premise of the Labour Party that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not get 25% of the votes needed is unsubstantiated and not necessary. While INEC is saying that the experts presented by Labour Party and what they said at the petition is unreliable and is not credible enough and does not form the basis for the petition they tendered. They're also saying that the polling units where Labour Party claims that the results, were deducted from, they couldn't present the results from the agents on those polling units. They couldn't get the result sheets from the representative of the Labour Party at those several polling units that Labour Party mentioned. So it means that their case is based on speculation and conjecture. Please, what's your take on that?
Well, I expect the INEC to realize that Labour Party had a situation room.
Okay.
Where they also did all their collation from their respective polling agents in all the polling units across the nation. And from that's a first-hand information that they have.
Okay.
And again, they also brought in the experts. Experts would have also corroborated those results they had from their agents before they went to court. Okay. So whatever INEC and their defense counsel are denying now is something that we left for the tribunal to actually prove who is actually right between INEC and Labour Party. But I know Labour Party had a situation room where they collated all their results before they said they came up with the 2.6 million that they said it was deducted. It is not just a formulation; it is what they have.
Mr. Elvis, are you on speaker? There is an echo. There's a reverberation, please.
No, I'm not on speaker. I'm not on speaker.
Okay, I can hear you. Are you listening to the radio close to you somewhere?
There's no radio. I'm on phone.
Okay, so there is an echo. That's why. All right, please continue.
So I don't think. I think the court and the INEC polling agents should be able to unravel the truth coming from both, whether the INEC or the Labour Party. But I know the situation room were very functional. Okay. Even when the IRF portal failed, Labour Party situation room did not fail. Okay. So when they came up that they had a 2.something million vote deducted, they knew what they were saying. So let us wait from what we're going to hear from the tribunal concerning that deduction. That's number one. Then number two, you know too well that INEC even uploaded some blur results into the RF portal. Yes, that's another controversy in the matter. Nobody knows the number of votes that are supposed to be presented in those blood images that were in the RF portal. So if Labour Party can prove that these blood images that we saw in the RF portal are from so and so polling units, and they are part of this 2.something million that they are claiming, I think they have a better case to move forward, and we'll leave the court to determine that. So the lawyers of APC must do their job.
Okay.
They must do their job.
The lawyers of APC or the lawyers of Labour Party?
APC that are saying that the 2.something million of Labour Party is not presentable. It's not. They are not. That is false.
It is what INEC is saying, which corroborates what APC said the last time in their final submission.
Yes, INEC and APC want to defend their infractions.
Okay.
Labour Party is in court because there were failure in the part of INEC, and the result they declaring APC as the winner of the election, that is faulted. That's why they are in court. So INEC and Labour and APC are corroborating that they are in joint defense, to stand their ground that what they declared is the authentic result. So they must do their own part. They must do their own bidding to clear their own side. But I know Labour Party have a strong evidence to prove what they told the court. But it's now left for the court to actually prove whoever is actually genuine in what they are telling Nigerians.
All right, CP Chooks, are you still with us?
Yes, I am there.
All right, CP Chooks. So the INEC said something in their written address that there is no attempt was in fact made by the petitioners this time around, Peter Obi and the party that he's the principal of, to present any of their polling agents' copies to show any discrepancy since the blood results were alleged to have been uploaded with a view to suppressing votes. What INEC is stating in its own summary, right, at the Election Petition Tribunal, it's saying that the Labour Party is claiming that the results were deliberately blurred and blood results were deliberately uploaded by INEC to the RF portal, which cannot be used as any summation or substantial evidence to present at the Election Petition Tribunal. So in other words, whatever it is INEC has announced, or whoever it is INEC has announced as the winner, is the authenticated winner. And they're saying that, okay, if you say that the blood results uploaded by INEC were deliberate to suppress the number of votes you claim that you acquire, what about the results from the agents of each of these polling units you mentioned that the results were blurry, whereby results couldn't properly be calculated? What happened to those agents, and what happened to your party agents' result sheet? Why were they not tendered at the court as evidence? So what's your take on this particular submission by INEC?
Well, the INEC will always want to defend its position and to make every effort to justify the results they have announced.
Okay.
That does not mean, in essence, that they are going to have the day, by the time the ruling comes up. What matters most is been able to present before the election court or election petition tribunal. In other words, lawyers obviously will make efforts in their presentation to see, at least to justify there being counsels, or solicitors to either of the sides. At the end of the day, everything depends on the court itself. It is by the time the court comes up with its decision or its ruling that either of the two sides will know who has the day. And whoever feels aggrieved on the other side has the liberty, or the window is open for him or her to go to the Supreme Court to continue the case.
All right, thank you, CP Chooks. Mr. Elvis, there is this dichotomy that has been on. I would say that Nigerians are actually, attentive and curious to eventually know what the result, or what the decision will be at the Election Petition Tribunal. And some persons will also argue that the decision at the Election Petition Tribunal shouldn't take too long. It shouldn't take 180 days, as they said. It shouldn't be up till September before they make a decision. There's really no necessity for the decision at the tribunal to be delayed. Do you also believe that should be what it is? It should be as expedited as fast as possible, rather than waiting for that long?
Yeah, I'm of that opinion. As soon as they know that they've concluded what they are doing, they should give the results so that Nigeria can move forward. Nigerians are very anxious to know the outcome of the tribunal, since we find ourselves in that situation. If we went to the poll to vote, but INEC came up with a shenanigan that it is the judiciary now that will now begin to determine our election for us, which is another big shame. But now that we are looking at the conclusion has been arrived at, they should give the results so that we know the next way forward. Because if you look at the way Nigeria is now, it is just like sitting on just one, standing on one leg. Nigerians are looking at the other side, and they are looking at the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Mm-hmm. So if the cases have been determined, let them give judgment so that we can move forward. Remember that whichever way the judgment goes now, they still have room for appeal to Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. So and that's still going to be still going to take some time. So I have the opinion now that the earlier we dispense with this tribunal at this level, then we can move forward. So that we are talking of submitting a ministerial list. If it goes the other way around, we are going to start all over. If we are going to start all over. So the earlier the better. That's my submission.
No, I want to take you back. If we have to submit ministerial list, how is the ministerial list going to affect the outcome at the Election Petition Tribunal? The ministerial list is basically nominees from the president.
What I'm saying categorically is that if it goes the other way, if the judgment goes the other way, which means this administration has to go, we are going to begin all over.
Okay, so do you think that's what's stalling the mentioning, or rather the disclosure of the names for ministers to be appointed in their several positions?
No, that's not it. That's not it. But what I'm trying to say is, the earlier we know the way forward, the better for Nigerians. That's what I'm saying. So because we don't have to start dragging one administration that has only 4 years tenure, whichever way it goes, as if we have eternity on our hands.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
So what I'm trying to say is that this administration has only 4 years tenure, whichever way it goes. So we don't need to start delaying things as if we have eternity on our hands. If the judgment goes the other way around, we are going to begin all over. You know that?
Okay.
Everything that has been done within this number of days now, or months of this present administration, is going to be jettisoned by the incoming government, whichever way it goes. But if the judgment favors them, which means they'll carry on from what they'll be doing.
But that's what I'm saying. Mr. Elvis, one pertinent question that I feel from the submission of INEC, which some persons may want to think is authenticated, it's an objective question to ask. The 18,088 polling unit results uploaded on IRA, which were blurred, what are the duplicate copies in the possession of the petitioner's polling agents? These are things that you present at the Election Petition Tribunal that would, strengthen your defense against, against the claim of INEC, or rather the declaration of INEC that Bola Ahmed Tinubu won the 2023 election. So INEC is saying that these results were not, presented from the agent. So what happened? What do you think happened?
INEC cannot say that because
that's what they said. I'm reading it out to you now. Yes, is actually saying that.
I know, but I expect the Labour Party lawyers to argue that with them, because they have from EC8 where all these things are already recorded. Okay. So that form that was recorded, the votes were recorded in the polling unit and signed by the party agent, was provided by INEC. Okay. So I don't see why INEC will begin to deny their own document they issued at the tribunal. So let's leave the judges to actually make pronouncement on such denial.
All right. So apparently, INEC has submitted its final address at the Election Petition Tribunal. The APC has actually done the same. So the court gave the PDP and the Labour Party 10 days to respond, to actually write out their own final address. So let's wait to hear what the Labour Party would say is in reference to what INEC has actually stated on their own written address. Let's see how they're going to defend that and hear what they have to say concerning what the APC have written and what INEC has written. Thank you so much, Mr. Elvis Elimehele, for your input on the World News at 12. I do appreciate it.
Thank you, Esther.
Also, CP Chicks, thank you so much for joining us on the World News at 12 to clarify issues. I do appreciate it. And finally, before we wrap up the World News at 12, the business front, of course, where the Federation Account Allocation Committee, they have actually shared about 907.05 billion naira as June revenue to federal, state and local government councils. Now, the amount represented an increment from 714.629 billion naira shared in May. The director of the press office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Bawa Mokwa, disclosed this on Thursday after the FAC meeting, which was chaired by the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Amadei. According to him, the outstanding balance of the escrowed account as of June stood at $473,754.57. And Mokwa explained that the amount comprised statutory revenue of 301.501 billion naira, including value-added tax and electric money transfer levy of 11.436 billion naira. Now, to wrap up the World News at 12, here again are the top stories. You heard that FAC has shared 907 billion naira to federal, state and local governments. Also, the governors plan cash transfers to poor households, dump Buhari's list. Corruption, nepotism, blackmail rocks Nigeria's anti-corruption agency. INEC speaks on deducting 2.5 million votes from Peter Obi's score. And EFCC arraigned Stella Odua over alleged 5 billion naira fraud money laundering. That is a wrap on the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Wachuku. Good afternoon. Thank you for listening. Up next is Matters with Ikami Jude.